I love the very end of the book. Just chef's kiss. All right. And with that, we are going to jump into our bestiary section. The Atlas Tortoise, and I can only think of the Atlas Tortoise as nothing other than just a giant tortera. If you've watched the new Detective Pikachu movie with Ryan Reynolds,
so
like that is what I see as the Atlas Tortoise. As far as the mythology goes, we kind of assume it's based off the world turtle tortoise mythologies. It's called the world turtle, also called the cosmic turtle or the world bearing turtle. We see this in the Hindu mythologies, the Chinese mythologies, and some mythologies from the indigenous peoples of America. As far as anything else goes, there's quite a lot that we don't know for sure. We can make a lot of astute guesses, mainly because the Atlas Tortoise and the Atlas Turtle are fairly similar in its abilities. One can swim, one walks on land. That's really the big differences between the two. So for Trial of Worth, we're guessing, but pretty sure that it has something to do with protecting something precious. Gonna say that it's a tier 3. I don't think there's gonna be any argument that it's for it being anything other than a tier 3. We do know that it had, again, going to guess that it's a progeny reproduction. It is able to evoke barriers and manipulate grounds and plants. So the Atlas Tortoise is able to manipulate the ground just as if a gargoyle can manipulate rocks or stone golems, that kind of thing. Not too sure about the augmentation or passive abilities. Its aura, true form, true appearance. Again, a lot of question marks with it. Hopefully, once the bestiary is released and is able to be discussed, we will be able to have more information on the Atlas Tortoise. But again, a lot of the information we're going to guess is basically the same as the Atlas Turtle. The other thing I want to mention about the Atlas Tortoise that we saw in these last chapters, it was a dread form, and it was stated that there was actually a tombstone on the tortoise's shell. Once it was killed, that tombstone fell off. Volk also did find a Kirin chilling in the back of this tortoise. So I assume that the Arcanist that was, I think it's Tamoy was the name of the Arcanist. So we assume he was a Kirin Arcanist along with the Atlas Tortoise, but Volk's just like, meh. It's not going to bond with anybody else, so I'll just leave it there.
And now that we have our true form Knightmare, we're going to dive pretty deep into them. So mythology nightmares are based on tales of ghost soldiers from Okinawa. So there's a lot of different myths that are centered around soldiers who die in the battlefield. Okinawa is probably one of the more famous and one of the more documented ones. These myths are anything from Spectre Samurai, people saying that ghosts need to, fulfill some sort of goal before they can depart. In areas that are so haunted that suicides are documented there, military housing gets condemned. And these stories really influence the creation of the Knightmare, who's born from the death of a ruler. It also comes from the idea of nightmares being able to merge, which is similar to ghosts being able to possess people and carry out actions through them. The Trial of Worth is demonstrating virtue and conviction. This is usually in the form of saving someone's life at the potential cost of losing your own. So we saw Volk at the very, very beginning saving someone's life from...
Shoot.
We see this at the beginning with Volk saving Lyle from Plague Stag. And then we also see this with Eviana, who steps in the way to try and save Volk's life because she's tired of seeing the people around her die. Nightmares are tier 3, and their reproduction is fable, again, being born when the sole ruler of the land is assassinated or killed by betrayal. The blood mixes with the shadow, and the new nightmare forms out of this, and we saw this actually happen with Glacial.
So excited when that happened.
I know. They are able to evoke terrors, so one of Volk's goals, too, is being able to evoke hallucinations that are sent to the mind of the target. They manipulate shadows, can move, harden them into objects. These are, however, easily destroyed by light. Augmentation, they are also able to augment shadows, so they can grant people to see through shadows. And when they augment themselves, they can gain the ability to shadow step through darkness, moving as though they were a shadow. Passive abilities, they are able to merge with the Arcanist, becoming a single being that live and die together. They can see through darkness, they're immune to most forms of fear and other terrors, and they have increased strength when they're in the darkness. Their aura is the Eclipse aura, which creates a shadow that blots out the sun or the moon, blanking everything in artificial darkness. And their true form is virtue. So the Arcanist embodies the ideals of a fallen knight, willing to stand in the face of something dark, no matter the personal cost, really sacrificing everything and being willing to sacrifice everything for their cause. Once they gain their true form, they do get a cape or scarf form into wings, and the armor becomes enhanced to become more deadly. So the gauntlets turn into claws. They become much more dexterous, and they're able to shift around their body a lot more. Their true form ability, which we haven't seen come into play, is no falsehood. So when they get their true form, the Arcanists are able to detect when people are lying to them.
I would love that. I love that ability. Just your line, stop it.
Just a little tingle. Little tingles. Yeah, that's not right.
Are you sure? All right. And with that concludes Plague Arcanist. And next week we will be going over, or we'll have the interview with Chad and Shammy for the tabletop game, along with the following week we'll be starting World Serpent Arcanist. Oh my gosh, we are officially halfway through the Frith Chronicles series itself.
The books get a lot longer, so we actually have a lot more content to cover.
Yep.
We're probably like a third of the way through, but
it's like the Harry Potter books, okay? The first few are the smaller ones. They hit 4, it's like, okay, it's going to take a little bit longer each time. Again, once we have the bestiary available, we'll get that out there. And I think that's it for this week. We'll definitely look forward to seeing everybody next week with the tabletop game, and then the following for Book 5.
Eric, Scott, and I want to thank everyone for listening today. We post a new episode every Wednesday morning at 11 Eastern, 10 Central, and 8 Pacific Standard Time. We are on all podcasting platforms and are also on YouTube as well for video. After the additional episode airs, we post chapter-by-chapter videos every day in a smaller, easier-to-digest format. We do want to give a special shout-out to the final member of our team, Dan Mackison, one of the admins for the Frith Chronicles Wiki, link listed below, and doing his best to keep everything running smoothly behind the scenes. If you want to reach out to us, you can email us at frithguildpod@gmail.com or on Facebook or any other social media by searching for Frith Guild Podcast. Just to remind everybody, we have links to everything in the description below on both the podcast and YouTube. Scott, do you have anything else you want to add this week?
We see Volk with his true form, and I'm excited to actually see it in play.
This is another one of those like little things of just, oh, why do you have to tease us like that? Give us nothing else.
Stay tuned. Everyone loves a cliffhanger, right?
Right, exactly. All right, thanks everybody.